Lewis Hamilton is jumping ship from the Silver Arrows and is going to prance with the horses. What in the hell is going on? This was originally meant to be a top 5 video where I spoke about which drivers I thought would be under the most pressure going into next season, but then this drops. In the early hours of yesterday morning, the Italian and Spanish press advised that the 7-time world champion would be leaving Mercedes at the end of the 2024 season to replace Carlos Sainz at Ferrari, to partner Charles Leclerc on a multi-year contract. I think it's safe to say that even though there have been multiple rumours over the years of Hamilton ending up donning himself in Ferrari Rosso, none of us thought this would come to pass, especially after both Hamilton and Russell signed with Mercedes till the end of 2025. But after a day of speculation and anticipation, it was confirmed by both Mercedes AMG-Petronas and Scuderia Ferrari that Hamilton would be racing in red starting in 2025. From Mercedes AMG-Petronas F1 Team and Lewis Hamilton will part ways at the end of the 2024 season. Lewis has activated a release option in his contract announced last year. From Ferrari, Scuderia Ferrari is pleased to announce that Lewis Hamilton will be joining the team in 2025 on a multi-year deal contract. And from Lewis himself, I've had an amazing 11 years with this team and I'm so proud of what we've achieved together. Mercedes has been a part of my life since I was 13 years old. It's a place where I've grown up, so making the decision to leave was one of the hardest decisions I have ever had to make. I personally think that Lewis must know something here. I think he's either seen something in this year's Mercedes car that he doesn't like, or he's been told something about Ferrari's development. If Lewis is going to Ferrari on a multi-year plan, he has to know something. He has been given information, surely, that proves Ferrari is where he needs to be to get another championship, which is what he is desperate for. Next up, has Sainz been hung out to dry? This is a kind of difficult one really, because Sainz he's never really found himself a home anywhere, has he? It was kind of clear from his run at McLaren that Lando was the favoured one, and then when he transitioned over to Ferrari, he was again playing second fiddle to Charles Leclerc. And with his apparent being tied to Audi when they joined the sport, where's he going to go for 2025? Does he take a year out, or does he go to another team just as a placeholder? What happens? When I say this is a much needed shake-up for the grid, a lot of drivers just signed multi-year contracts. Like, you know, Norris and Piastri have both signed long-running contracts at McLaren. Leclerc signed a long-running contract at Ferrari. Red Bull aren't exactly going to be eager to let Verstappen go anytime soon. I can see Lewis doing what he did for Mercedes, but with Ferrari, because, you know, when a load of regulations changed back in 2009, everyone came out with the design of a car, and, you know, when regulations change, every year it's an evolution of that car. And Mercedes started out on the wrong foot, and Lewis was able to correct them. But this is, again, something which I think he knows about this car, and he knows something about the Ferrari car, where he's seen something he doesn't like, and he's seen something he does like over with the Reds. And that's one of the reasons I think he's probably bouncing now. The other two drivers who this affects, of course, are Charles Leclerc and George Russell. Let's start with Leclerc. At the time of recording, he hasn't yet put out a statement about Lewis becoming his new teammate, or anything regarding Sainz or anything like that. But he has made comments previously, you know, when previous rumours were circling about Lewis going to Ferrari. And I think Charles' opinion on this whole situation will depend on who ends up being the favourite. Because while Leclerc has just signed a long-running contract with Ferrari, you have got, I mean, we can argue about this, statistically, the greatest F1 driver in the world, in F1 history, is now coming to be your teammate. There is going to be some kind of something, and I think Charles is going to be feeling it. But without him currently making a statement, I can't really comment too much on it. But finally, George Russell. He's going to be taken over as the main man for Mercedes now. Finally, he has got what he's wanted. He is now, well, soon to be, the #1 main man over at Mercedes, which is what he wanted, and I believe what was kind of actually promised. He can now really get into it, properly develop his own team now, kind of like he did with Williams. And I am honestly hoping, I really like Russell. I think he's a really cool guy. I think he's a good driver. I really want to see him hammer down with this team, really settle in, and properly take them to new heights. And I think the last conversation which kind of needs to happen is, who's gonna go to Mercedes now to replace Hamilton? A load of people have been saying that Ferrari and Mercedes should just do a switch where Carlos will go to Mercedes and, well, Lewis goes to Ferrari. And that's an interesting one, but I don't think Carlos would take it, especially because it will only be for a year if he is truly tied to Audi and where he's going to go over there. The name which I've seen floating around is Lando Norris, but again, I don't think that'll happen with him just signing a multi-year contract with McLaren, and especially the way McLaren is going at the moment. They've had a really strong car for, you know, definitely the back half of 2023, and it's looking like both him and Piastri are both happy right now, so I think we can cross both of those names off. The one wild card I did see was Fernando Alonso. I don't think Alonso would go to Mercedes. I don't think he'd want it. I think he's perfectly happy where he is right now, and I think with Aston Martin, I think he'll probably end his career there. Yeah, I can't see Fernando taking it. But the one which I did see, and I think probably holds the most weight, is actually Mick Schumacher. He's worked very closely with Lewis and George over the last year, and he knows this team, he knows how it works, and more importantly, he knows what would be expected of him. And he's quite comfortable at Mercedes. I mean, he is going off to go and do other racing sports at the moment, but that might just be good lessons and good teaching that he needs to come back to Mercedes and take George Russell's spot while Russell goes to the top. And I think Mick could actually really find himself a home there. And finally, me personally, I am a Mercedes supporter. I am a Lewis Hamilton supporter. So this is very conflicting for me. As a Hamilton fan, I'm really happy that he's now able to make a move to somewhere where he thinks he'll be able to do great things and round out his career hopefully on a high. But as a Mercedes supporter, I'm pissed. We just lost the greatest F1 driver in history, and it is completely up in the air with what's happening. Nevertheless, I am actually quite excited. I'm looking forward to see what Lewis does. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to my team. And I'm eagerly anticipating the new car reveals and the first race of the 2024 season. Well, that's going to do it for today. Just a little bit of a different video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, notification, all that jazz, and I'll see you next time. I've been TSM. Peace out.